day after. I mean, how do you think...
Freddie, what are you talking about?
This guy came to see me yesterday at this motel.
Working on for the last few weeks. The idea behind Actors Studio is it's not a heavy-duty acting class. We're not studying the classics of drama. We're just working on techniques and skills with acting in a studio setting, the way other artists work, you know, practicing their skills and putting together. We didn't spend a lot of time studying literature, you know, classic plays. Didn't do any of that really. Studio presentations usually are very short pieces that are usually humorous. Not always, but usually. In this case, I think you'll find that it is. We didn't spend a lot of time rehearsing this either. Well, we had about 6 weeks of time working with these plays. They're little scenes, one by one. So each group really only had about 6 rehearsals to put this together. So, you know, this kind of thing requires that very short rehearsal times to get the show up and entertain. Kind of like the way TV shows like Saturday Night Live and Mad TV work. They have to get 1 week to work with a script and go, whether it's ready or not. So that's the way we're working tonight. And I think you're going to enjoy yourselves. It's a very short play, and won't take up too much time. We've got a second performance if you want to stick around for another run through. But without any more time, I won't waste any more of your time. We'll let the show begin. So here we go.
Welcome to another edition of Fairy Tale Court. I am your host, Albert Lewis. The litigants are entering the courtroom. The plaintiffs are the 3 blind mice. The mice claim that the farmer's wife, in a fit of rage, cut off their tail. The mice are asking $900 in medical bills and $1,200 to pay the supplement. Judge Victor is entering the courtroom.
I have read this unique case and would first like to hear from the mice. Who will be the spokesperson for this group?
I will, Your Honor.
Okay, then who are you?
My name is Mo. Over there's Larry, and over there's my brother Curly.
Well then, tell me your story.
We're riding our skateboards down on the sidewalk over on the sidewalk, and then all of a sudden...
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that you and your blind brothers were riding skateboards?
Yes, Your Honor. We are skaters. We skate wherever we go.
How do you know where you're going? How can you be sure you won't run into something?
Well, that's not a problem. We skate everywhere, and all the people always get out of our way.
This is very...
It doesn't really matter that we're skaters. Skaters don't watch out for us anyway.
This is very interesting. But what happened on the day in question?
We were riding our skateboards down the sidewalk over on the west side, and this woman, she got in our way, so we ran her down.
You ran her down?
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't her fault. She wouldn't get out of her way. Oh, it's lying.
It says here in my report, you all ran after the farmer's wife.
We were just skating. We didn't listen to chase them.
Ma'am, is this true?
Your Honor, I was just on my way home to my part-time job.
What is your job?
I'm a wood carver, mister.
Do you use a knife in your job?
Of course, Your Honor. I teach people how to carve wood. I need a knife to do that.
It says here in my report, you cut off their toes with a carving knife. Is it true?
Yes, Your Honor. Let me explain. I was walking after class. I was lying on when I heard noise, I jumped the crack, snapped me out. After I ran the first time, there was the skaters. Turned around, came back, and ran again. Once was an accident because I couldn't take it anymore. But she faced my chase accident, Billy Rage, rage, Jim Carmen, once by
How long have you mice been blind?
Like, a long time now. Oh, we lost our sight in A.
I heard him. What kind of skateboard accident would cause all 3 of you to lose your sight?
Well, it was bright in the day, yeah, and we were skating from the sun. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Mo, Curly, and Larry. Are these your tails?
Whoa, dude, our tail! There's our tail. Oh, there's your tail. Whoa! Uh-oh.
Quiet, you fool. She's on to us.
Yeah, quiet.
Well, it seems that you have no trouble seeing your tails now. What do you have to say for yourselves?
We're like Justin the Man did.
Yeah, skating's for life.
It is the opinion of the bench that these 3 mice were 1, not blind, 2, did not give right way of a pedestrian, and 3, injured an innocent wood carver. I rule in favor of the defendant. As for their tails, they'll go back. Case closed.
Also, they can remember last time I got the tail. Next time will be their head.
This next case involves a farmer who says his sheep herder neglected his sheep, thus causing them harm. The farmer is asking $600 and for damage to his sheep.
I have read the case and am familiar with it. Now, farmer, I understand you have quite a large flock of sheep to watch.
Yes, sir, but you see, any experienced shepherd have no trouble, sir. You see, Shepherd's Union just doesn't anyone got you from shepherd school.
Very good, but what actually happened out there with the sheep?
It was a Saturday, yes, a Saturday in August. I had finished working the field and decided to go out and check out Mr. Blue and the sheep. Well, when I got there, the sheep were everywhere, some in the middle, and cows were in the corn. I found my sheep in the beans, some in the river, and some up on the rocks. They were just everywhere, no Mr. Blue in sight. So I began to search, and there he was, under the haystack, fast asleep.
Now let me get this straight. Mr. Blue was to watch the sheep and keep them together. Is this right?
Yes, sir, you see, properly trained.
That'll be enough. Now, Mr. Blue, boy Blue, I understand.
Like, yeah, man. Yes, sir.
Were you watching the sheep on the day in question?
Yeah, I watch those sheep. You see, that's my day job. I'm a musician, you know. After the trumpet nightclub, they call me Mr. Blue. Do you want to hear some of my chart?
No, not today. Well, 2 jobs. When do you sleep, Mr. Blue?
That's what I mean, Your Honor. He sleeps on a job.
That'll be enough, sir. Please sit down and control yourself. Now, Mr. Blue, is this true? Do you sleep on the job?
Sometimes I fall asleep, Your Honor. It is difficult not to. Why, to make ends meet, I have to work 2 jobs. My family depends on me.
Who do you support at home?
Well, my wife, my 5 children, and my elderly mother. You see, what the farmer pays me with the extra hours to make me work, I don't have any time to sleep.
How many hours a week do you work for the farmer?
Between 30 and 45, Your Honor, but I still can't make ends meet.
Tell me, farmer, how much do you pay him? It is at least minimum wage, isn't it?
Well, see, Your Honor, he's an employee, and
How much?
$1 an hour, Your Honor. But I give him 4 hours of overtime a week. Now that is time and a half.
$1 an hour? Farmer, how long has Mr. Blue been working for you?
A little over 3 years, Your Honor.
Isn't it time for a little raise?
But you see, Your Honor, he's stuck on a job, and now I'm trying to teach him a lesson.
$1 an hour? There's no excuse for that. There are labor laws that forbid such treatment of an employee. Now, Mr. Blue, are you a graduate of Shepherd School?
Yes, sir, top of my class, sir.
Are you a member of the Shepherd's Union?
I know I should be, Your Honor, but I can't afford to do.
This is one of the most extreme cases of unfair salary practices I've ever run across. I find you guilty of labor violations and order you to pay back salary to equal a minimum wage for the past 3 years' work and extra overtime work. Case closed.
Like I'm late, man, I gotta get the clubs.
Now remember, if you have a problem, don't take long to your house. Take it to court. This next case involves our plaintiff, Miss Muffet, of Storybook fame. She claims that a large hairy spider, our defendant, soils her new dress, causing her emotional trauma, and causing her lost wages at the Thomas & Tucker Company. She's asking $150 for a new dress, $1,500 for emotional trauma, and $10,500 for lost wages.
I have read your case and am familiar with it. Miss Muffet, tell me your story.
Well, Your Honor,
Miss Muffet, if you can't continue, I'll just have to...
I'm fine, Your Honor. It was a bright sunny noon, and I decided to eat my lunch somewhere quiet in the park.
Your lunch. Well, Miss Muffet, I see. Where are you employed?
Thompson's Puppets, Your Honor.
Thompson's what?
Thompson's Puppets. You see, they are the world's largest.
That'll be enough. Please answer the question, Miss Muffet.
Well, as I said before, I wanted to eat my lunch somewhere quiet in the park. I pulled out my tucket and put it down on me.
You pulled out your what?
My tucket. You see, Your Honor, I was testing this new model for our home line. You should see them. They are
Never mind about the tuck business. On with your story.
Well, let's see. Where was I? Oh, yes. I pulled out my tucket, put it down on the ground. It was probably like this one. Yes, Your Honor, that's my story. I stepped down on my tucket, pulled out my lunch, and began to eat. Before I knew it, my lunch was all over me, and that big hairy spider was right next to me.
say here what you had for lunch that day.
Curds away, Your Honor.
What is that?
It's disgusting. Some gooey, slimy, big white and yellow hunk of stuff to look like.
That'll be quite enough. One more outburst like that and I'll hold you in contempt.
Your Honor, I would like to offer Exhibit A to the court. My bowl of curds and whey.
Oh my, that's awful.
See, you can imagine this sit next to that.
No wonder you eat alone. That'll be enough. Mr. Spider, let me hear your story.
Thank you, Your Honor. I finished a long way of building after that strawberry night before. I had just finished the back entrance when I caught with that awful smell. I became dizzy. Everything started to spin. I lost my balance and fell to the ground. When I woke up, she was holding that bowl. It was just awful. She was covered with that smelly stuff. She took one look at me and ran off. I must have fainted again. She took...
Enough. Did you make any attempt to frighten her?
Oh no, Your Honor. I was still in a daze.
Miss Muffet, did the spider make any attempt to frighten you?
I don't see why people don't like my curds and whey.
Miss Muffet, please answer the question.
Yes, you tried to frighten me. I was just minding my own business, eating my curds
Very
and
good,
whey.
Miss Muffet. Do you buy this food at the local grocery store?
Oh, no, Your Honor. I make it right in my own kitchen. That's very... here it is. Recipe. I've tried to get it published, but nobody wants it.
I have found that Miss Muffet was in violation of possessing hazardous substance. Several of the ingredients in her curds and whey are classified as hazardous. She violates air pollution statute number 577 of curds and whey, according to Constitution and Health Hazard. Miss Muffet, you're lucky the spider didn't file a suit against you and your smelly lunch. Case closed.
Well, there you have it, folks. Miss Muffin, what do you have to say about Judge Lipton's decision? Well, our next case involves our plaintiff, yes, the old woman of the shoe fame. Her suit claims that her 10 children, our defendants, are 1, disrespectful, 2, noisy, 3, messy, and 4, out of control. On the other hand, the children are countersuing the old woman for child abuse when she whipped them all and sent them to bed.
Old woman, I have read your complaint. Please tell me more.
Your Honor, these kids are just terrible. Why, they just don't mind me. I will...
Very good, old woman. It says here in my report you have 10 children.
Yes, sir, I do. All I do is work for them.
What kind of work do you do for them, old woman?
Why, I clothe them, I feed them, Your Honor, and they don't show me any appreciation for it.
Yes, old woman, I see. What have you done to try to solve this problem?
Well, I spanked them nicely, soundly, and sent them to bed.
Don't you think it was a bit extreme, ma'am?
Oh, no, I would never abuse my children.
Very well, then. Children, let me hear your side of the story.
Yeah, what are you doing?
You're supposed to tell me your side of the story.
Well, it's really funny in the old too. You just don't know what's like. That was two states.
They're just sitting in that room.
You should talk. My room is in the top. Your room is in the middle. It's so cramped in there.
Right, but I don't have any closet space, none at all.
Big deal. There's so much stuff in there. I know none of us can remove it.
Right, so much stuff. The little I have is either stolen or broken, probably by you.
I'll show you, broken.
Order! Calm down, you two.
Do you see what I have to deal with every day, Your Honor?
Order in the court. You must not talk out of order in this courtroom again.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. But you told me.
Hey, Jay, relax, man.
Yeah, like, cool it, dude. That's our mother you're talking to.
Order, you juvenile delinquents. Get back. I don't want to hear another word from you. You kids don't deserve...
Now, wait a minute, Judge. My kids are not perfect, but they're not juvenile delinquents.
Listen here, old woman. These kids are...
That's your mom calling old woman.
Pretend behave that way in my courtroom and get away with it. Well, I've never seen anything like this before.
Contempt. I'll show you contempt, Judge. You can't talk to my children that way. I didn't know you cared so much.
Well, there you have it, folks. If you have a problem, don't take the law into your own hands. Take him to court. This next case, the plaintiffs are Mr. Grundy, principal of Shady Grove Elementary School, and Miss Chevelle, fourth grade teacher at Shady Grove Elementary School. They are suing Mary for property damage of Shady Grove. They are asking $3,289.33. And they also are suing Mary's Little Lamb with fleece as white as snow for willful misfit.
I have read the case and am familiar with it. Mr. Grundy, will you tell the court your side of the story?
You see, ma'am, I was sitting at my desk typing in the court papers, and I looked out the window and saw that lamb moving up the hallway.
How do you know what lamb that lamb was?
Well, it's that lamb that follows that girl to school every day. It follows her to school. It's against the rules, you know.
Are we talking about Mary and her little lamb, whose fleece was white as snow?
As white as snow, you indicate lamb was pretty weak. That lamb was dirty, smelly beast.
Who are you and what are you doing? And what do you have to do with this case?
Well, I'm Gertrude Chevelle, Mary's fourth grade teacher, and I thought lamb at school was just off to it. Turns out, just turns out.
So why wasn't that the end of it?
I'll tell you, Your Honor, that lamb always lingered near. Wherever Mary went, that lamb was sure to go. We just couldn't get rid of it. We tried the dog pound. They wouldn't take it. We tried the fire department, and after a while, they wouldn't even answer calls. We tried the police station, the sanitation department, even the local butcher, but no one would help us get rid of that pest.
Well now, Mary, what do you have to say about your lamb?
Well, Your Honor, I'm far in the country. I have no friends to play with. My best friend is my dear sweet little lamb, who sleeps by his snout. He follows me wherever I go. He helps with my chores, walks me to the store and me restaurant. He follows me to school. I know it's against the rules, but that lamb is part of the family. Wherever I go, my lamb follows. What's so wrong with having a devoted friend?
Well now, Mary, that's not the issue here. The destruction of property is.
My little lamb was this snow would never harm property. These people are around. My little lamb could never have done anything.
Where is that lamb? I'd like to examine him.
I don't know, Your Honor. He's been gone for several days now. Don't worry, kid. I saw him just, I bet he's just fine.
Mr. Grundy, you saw him? You bet he's just fine? How do you know this?
He meant to be saw lamb that looked just like him. He was just fine. That's what he meant.
It's you. You kidnapped my lamb. You held him and won't let him go.
Well, Mr. Grundy, Miss Chevelle.
Times have been tough in school, Your Honor.
It was Grundy's idea. I didn't want anything to do with it. The gophers were digging up the yard. The school didn't have enough money to pay for that pair. Grundy thought he could get insurance money for the damage.
Mr. Grundy, where's the lamb now?
In the science lab at school. I was going to go eventually. My lamb, my cute little lamb, I must go to him.
Mr. Grundy, what do you have to say for yourself?
I wouldn't have hurt him, Your Honor.
It was Grundy's idea. I didn't want anything to do with it. Grundy said he would have my dog fight, but I didn't go along with the scheme.
But nonetheless, you did, didn't you, Miss Chevelle?
I guess so, Your Honor.
This case against Mary's little lamb, whose fleece is white as snow, is canceled, and I find Mr. Grundy and Miss Chevelle with the willful abduction of Mary and the little lamb with fleece as white as snow. Case closed.
Well, there you have it, folks. It could have been Colonel Little Lamb, but instead it's Colonel Little Flag.
show. Hope you liked it. Thank you so much for coming. And did you like it? Good. Good. All right. Thanks again. Oh, the ball? Yeah, that's funny. Well, if you've got somebody in cast one, they can go with you, except for a couple of people. Lydia needs to stay because she's in both. Jessica needs to stay because she's in both shows. But some of you can take your home. They'll know. Good evening. It looks like we've got a few repeat customers here. But that's okay. My spiel will be a little different because I don't have the script. So. Anyway, welcome to our show tonight. This is the Actor Studio presentation, our little play. And I want to explain a little bit about the studio approach to this that we have to the program. You know, a lot of the shows we've done here at Fairgrove, we've done on stage, great big stage, big productions. The studio theater is a little different approach. It's a smaller approach, a little more intimate. We're here in the classroom, so we've got a smaller audience than we had for Broadway Lights, that's for sure. In the studio situation, it's not a heavy drama class. We're not studying the classics. We're not doing Shakespeare in studio class. We're working on acting techniques and honing our skills. We don't spend a lot of time on any one script. We're bouncing from play to play to play to play. And this show you're going to see tonight, although we worked on it for about 6 weeks, each individual play, they only had about 5 or 6 rehearsals before tonight. So they were taking the skills that they learned all semester long and applying them to this show to get it down as fast as possible and put it on. Kind of like the way that comedy shows on TV like Saturday Night Live and Mad TV do it. They get 1 week to rehearse. They rehearse 8 hours a day. But we stretched it out over 6 weeks, just a few short rehearsals, and we're ready to show it to you tonight. You'll also find that these studio shows tend to be humorous, not serious, and I think you'll find this to be a funny show. Okay, so I'll stop talking and we'll get the show started now. So here we go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to another edition of Fairy Tales of the Court. I'm your host, Andrea. Plaintiffs are the 3 blind mice. The mice claim that the farmer's wife in a fit of rage cut off the tail of the card knife. 3 blind mice are $900 for medical bills and $1,200 for the paid suffering. Just think very interesting.
I have read this unique case and would first like to hear from the plaintiff. Please tell me your story.
I was down.
Okay, who are you?
My name is Bobby Skirt and I live in my living area.
Well, tell me your story.
Wait, I'm not sure, but I see that I actually put down I always studied.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that you and your blind brothers were riding skateboards?
Yeah. I mean, it was yeah, we're skating. We skate wherever we go.
How do you know where you're going? How do you know you won't run into something?
Well, that's not a problem. We skate wherever, and all we can do is to get out of the way. It doesn't really matter that we're on the skate, so we're friends anyway.
This is very interesting, but what happened on the day in question?
Well, yeah, we're cleaning outside, over on the west side. I just wanted to get him down of our way, so we ran her down.
You ran her down?
Yeah, I mean, it was my fault. She wanted to get out of the way. After all, we're blind.
It says here in the report that you all ran after the farmer's wife.
We just wanted to skate on. We wasn't chasing nobody, man.
Yeah, when we get the heart shot, going on just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Ma'am, is that true?
I was just on my way home from a part-time job.
What is that from?
I'm a woodcarver.
Do you use a knife in your work?
Of course, Your Honor. Teach me how to work. I need a knife to do that.
It says here in my report that you cut off the tails of the cardinal. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor. But let me explain. I was walking around the class with my room. When I heard a noise, I looked up and crashed, knocked me down. After I ran the first time, I was scared, turned around, came back, and ran out again. Once was an accident. Twice. I couldn't take it anymore. So she's happy with me.
locked outside and
I heard him. What kind of a skateboard accident would that cause all three of you to lose your sight?
Well, it was a bright sunny day, yeah, and it's the bright as heck. Yeah.
Oh, Curly and Larry, are these your tails?
yeah, hey, dude, those are tails. Quiet, you fool. He's on to us. Yeah, quiet.
Well, it seems that you have no trouble seeing your tails. What did you say for yourself?
When we were just staying, we didn't really hurt a lot.
Yeah, we're skating. Skating is alive.
It is the opinion of the bench that the 3 marks were 1, not flying. 2 did not give the right of way to a pedestrian, and 3 injured and innocent when covered. I rule in favor of the defendant. As for the tails, they will go back.
Last time we got the tail, this time we'll be the head.
Now remember, yeah, next case this next case involves a farmer.
I have read this case. I am familiar with it. Now, farmer, I understand you have a large flock of sheep to watch.
Yes, sir, but you see, any experienced shepherd should have no trouble, sir. The shepherd union just doesn't let anyone graduate from shepherd school.
Very good, sir. But what actually happened out there with the sheep?
It was a Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. I was done working in the field and decided to go check on Mr. Blue and the sheep. Well, when I got there, the sheep were just everywhere. Some were in the meadow, the cows were in the corn. I found some more sheep in the meadow, somewhere in the river, and several up on the rocks. They were just everywhere, and no Mr. Blue in sight. So I went to go search for him, and there he was, fast asleep under the haystack.
Now, let me get this straight, Mr. Blue. But to watch the sheep and keep them together. Is that right?
Yes, sir, but you see, I properly trained.
Well, that will be fine enough. Now, Mr. Blue, I understand.
Yes, sir.
Were you watching the sheep on that day in question?
Yes, I watched the sheep. You see, I'm a musician, I play the trumpet and it's good. They call me Mr. Blue. You want to answer my charts?
No, not today. Well, 2 jobs. When do you sleep, Mr. Blue?
That's what I mean, Your Honor. He sleeps on the job.
That will be enough, sir. Please sit down and control yourself. Now, Mr. Blue, is this true? Do you sleep on the job?
Sometimes I fall asleep, Your Honor. It is difficult not to. Like making me have to work 2 jobs. My family depends on me, Your Honor.
Who do you support at home?
Well, my wife, my 5 children, and an elderly mother. You see, it's what the farmer pays me well with extra hours it makes me work. I don't have time to sleep.
How many hours a week do you work for the farm?
45, Your Honor. I still can't make ends meet.
Tell me, farmer, how much do you pay him an hour? It is at least minimum wage, isn't it?
Well, you see, Your Honor, he is a new employee and
How much?
$1 an hour, Your Honor, but I give him 4 hours of overtime a week. Now that's time and a half.
$1 an hour? Farmer, how long have you been working? Mr. Blue's been working for you?
A little over 3 years.
Over 3 years. Isn't it time for a little raise?
But he slept on the job, Your Honor. I was trying to teach him a lesson.
$1 an hour. There is no excuse for that. There are labor laws that forbid such treatment of an employee. Mr. Blue, are you a graduate of the Shepherds Union?
Sir, how can I count, sir?
Are you a member of the Shepherds Union?
No, sure, sir. You see, I can't afford to do it.
This is one of the most extreme cases of unfair salary practice I have ever run across. I find you guilty of labor violation and order you to pay back salary to equal minimum wage for the past 3 years, and the proper overtime for extra hours worked.
Farmer got better. Next talk to you tonight, what do you have to say about that?
I'm late, man. I gotta be just close.
I remember, yeah, probably, we'll take the down here and stay at court. This next case is all.
This next case involves the plaintiff, little Miss Muffet, a story of fame. Miss Muffet claims that a large hairy spider defendant stole out her new dress, caused her undue emotional trauma, and kept her away from work, resulting in lost wages. Miss Muffet is asking for $50 for a new dress, $1,500 for emotional distress, and $10,500 lost wages.
I have read your complaint. I am familiar with the case. Miss Muffet, please tell me the story.
Well, Your Honor.
Miss Muffet, if you can't continue, I'll just have to.
I'm fine, Your Honor. Continue. It was right from the beginning that I decided that I wanted to eat my lunch in the park.
Your lunch. Well, I see, Miss Muffet. Where are you to play?
Thompson's Tuppence, Your Honor.
Thompson's what?
Thompson's Tuppence. As a matter of fact, we are the world's largest.
That will be quite enough, Miss Muffet. Please continue.
Well, as I said before, I was minding my own business. I pulled out my lunch.
You pulled out your what?
My tubby arms, yes, that's in the school model car ball line. You should see them. They are.
Never mind about the tub of business. On with your story.
See, oh, yes. I was about to put my tubby on. You probably like this one. It's our latest model, fully portable. Yes, sir, I'll stick to my story.
Never mind about the tub of business.
I sat down and began to eat my lunch. I don't remember exactly what happened next. For I know a large hairy spider was right next to me. Let me tell you, Your Honor.
Lunch was all over you. It doesn't say what you had for lunch that day.
Here's the way, Your Honor.
What is that?
Disgusting. All gooey, standing with big white and yellow funky stuff to look like.
Egg. That'll be quite enough. One more outburst like that and I'll hold you in contempt.
Your Honor, I'd like to offer Exhibit A. How pretty is it? And roll his way.
Yeah, get that away. That's awful.
Imagine if I could sit next to that awful stuff.
No wonder you eat alone. No wonder. Spider, let me hear your side of the story.
Thank you, Your Honor. I had finished a long morning of well building after that storm the night before. I was just finishing the back entrance when I caught up with that awful snow. I became dizzy. Everything started to spin. I lost my balance and fell to the ground. When I woke up, she was holding that bowl. It was awful. She was covered with that smelly stuff. She took one look at me and ran off. I must have fainted again. They found me in that puddle of that.
Enough, enough. Did you make any attempt to frighten her?
Oh, no, Your Honor. I was still in the daze.
Miss Muffet, did the spider make any attempt to frighten you?
I don't see why people won't like my curtains away. Well, I have been it for years. I even had
Miss Muffet, please answer the question.
Why, yes, he frightened me. I was only minding my own business, eating my...
Very good, Miss Muffet. Do you buy this food at the local grocery
Oh,
store?
no, Your Honor. I make it right in my own kitchen. I have my own recipe. I even have tried to get it published, but no one seems to want it. Here, Your Honor. Secret stuff.
I have found that Miss Muffet was in violation of possessing a hazardous substance. Several of the ingredients in the curtain were classified as hazardous. She violates Air Pollution Statute 577 of 1991 Curtis Way. According to the law, constituted health hazard. Miss Muffet, you're lucky that the spider did not file a suit against you and your smelly lunch. Case closed.
Wait, I think one of the letters is coming out. Yes, I believe it's so. Oh, so what do you have to say about there's no secret? This next case involves a woman, yes, sweet old woman did a fine she is suing her children for encouraging they are one, out of control, two, disrespectful, three, noisy, four, messy. On the other hand, the children have counseled the old woman for child abuse when she whipped them all sounding and symptoms of death.
Old woman, I've read your complaint. Please tell me more.
Your Honor, it's these kids, why they're just terrible. They don't look at me. All I do is work for them.
Very good, old woman. It says in this report that you have 10 children.
All I do is work for them.
What kind of work do you do for them, old woman?
Why, I clothe them and feed them, and they just don't appreciate me for it.
Yes, old woman, I see. What have you done to try to solve this problem?
Your Honor, I'm their mother.
Yes, I know that. Just how you deal with the problem.
I whipped them all soundly and put them to bed.
Don't you think that was a little bit extreme now?
Oh no, I've never abused my children.
Very well. Let me hear from the children. Children, let me hear your side of the story.
Yeah, what do you want?
Won't tell me your side of the story.
Actually, I found it in an old shoe. Just on the other side. That old shoe stinks. There just isn't enough room. You should talk. My room is in the toe. My room is in the toe. It's so cramped in there. Your room is in the hill. So, you're all to yourself.
Right, but I have no closet space, none at all.
Big deal. You got so much stuff in that house, can you fit in there?
Right, so much stuff that the little I have was stolen or broken, probably by you.
I saw you broken.
Order! Calm down, you two.
This is what I have to deal with every day, Your Honor. I just can't stand it anymore.
Order in this court. You must not talk out of... Order in this court again.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but it's these kids.
The problem is that old shoe.
I do the best I can.
The best you can. Come on, Mom, give me a break.
Order in the court.
Hey, Judge, relax, man.
Yeah, like cool, dude. That's what Mom was talking about.
Order, you juvenile delinquents. Get back there. I don't want to hear any more from you. You kids don't deserve.
My kids may not be perfect, but they're not juvenile delinquents.
Now listen here, old woman. These kids are...
Hey, Judge, that's your mom calling an old woman.
You can't behave that way in my courtroom and get away with it. Well, I've never seen anything like it before.
I'll show you contempt. This case is canceled.
Oh, Mom, I didn't know you cared so much.
Well, there you have it, boys. If you're out found, don't take the law in your hands, take it to court. The plaintiff, in this next case, the plaintiffs are Mr. Burns, the principal of Shady Grove Elementary, and Ms. Travell, a fourth grade teacher at Shady Grove. The plaintiff claimed that Mary Little Lansing damaged the school and caused personal injury to several school employees. Plaintiffs were asking $3,289.33 for damage to Shady Grove School property, $2,000 medical for the expense of Mr. Grove, and $1,500 pain and suffering for Mr. Grundy. Plaintiffs further charged Mary Little Lamb with criminal mischief and Mary
I have read this case and I'm familiar with it. Mr. Grundy, would you tell the court your side of the story?
You see, sir, I was sitting at my desk typing report papers when I looked out the window and saw that lamb leaving up the school.
How do you know what lamb that lamb was?
It was the lamb that follows that girl to school every day. It follows her to school. It is against the rules, you know.
What about Mary and her little lamb whose fleece was white as snow? Order in this court. Now, who are you and what do you have to do with this case?
Well, I'm Richard Chevelle, it's first grade teacher, and I thought the lamb at school was basketball, so it turned out what it turned out.
So why wasn't that the end of it?
I'll tell you, Your Honor. That lamb always interfered. Wherever Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. We tried the dog pound. They wouldn't get rid of it. We tried the fire department. After a while, they wouldn't even take our calls. We called the police, the sanitation department, and the local butcher, but no one would help us get rid of that pest.
Well, now, Mary, what do you have to say about the lamb?
Well, Your Honor, I was proud of intentions have no sense spent. My best friend is Deidres and he follows me wherever I go. He walks me to stars, he helps with my charge, and he follows me to school. I know sometimes the rules, Your Honor, but that I'm in the front of the family. Wherever I go, that I'm going to school. This so long, how many days?
Well, Mary, that's not the issue here, but destruction of property is.
My student at this is let us know and never have my property. This is far wrong. He could have never done anything.
Where's that lamb now? We'd like to examine him.
I don't know, I'm looking for about him. Don't worry, kid. I saw him just, I bet he's just fine.
Mr. Grundy, you saw him. You bet he just fine. How do you know that?
He meant that he saw him look just like him. He was fine, yes, doesn't it? It's you cannot win that. You have a move over the door.
Well, Mr. Grundy, Ms. Roselle,
Times have been rough at school, Your Honor.
It was learned that I don't want anything to do with it. The both of Virginia cigars and still don't have enough money to pay for their parents for any kind of food and insurance and other damage.
Mr. Clengy, where's that lamb now?
At the science lab at school, Your Honor. I was going down gold eventually.
Mr. Grungy, what do you have to say for yourself?
I wasn't going to hurt him, Your Honor.
I don't want anything to do with it, Your Honor. Maybe this is not my job if I didn't go on this week.
But nonetheless, you did go along with this. Along, didn't you, Mr. Grungy?
I guess not.
This case against Mary of Little Lamb fame is dismissed, and I charge Mr. Grungy and Mr. Bell with the willful abduction of a little lamb whose police has alleged the name.
This case has a different twist. It could have been currents for the lamb instead of currents for the spade.
I'm ready.
Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for coming.